guys, what's up? It's Stratos. Welcome to episode 2. Today with me, I have Mr. Niko.
Hi guys,
Yeah,
thanks Stratos for having me.
absolutely. So, those of you guys that don't know who he is the owner of MyMXB and a very well known community member with the MX Bikes community. Does a lot of things for the pro side of the community. And yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, so I guess to get started, I guess just tell us who you are, where you're from.
Yeah. So Niko, I'll be 35 next month already. It hurts. And I'm from France. I moved to Switzerland 12 years ago, just for my job. And yeah, I'm in the motocross gaming for ages since I was born, because my dad was a motocross rider, and so I was kind of born on a bike. I started riding a bike at 3 years old before I even knew how to ride a bicycle, by the way. And I'm also that kind of geek, always been passionate with video games and IT in general. So I think I played all the existing video games, motocross video games, I mean. And the first one was, I guess, Moto Racer 1 on PC. So yeah, that's why I'm here today, because I always loved the motocross in general and games. So here I can combine both.
That's awesome. Yeah, a couple of those games you mentioned are some of the OGs, some of the very first ones that ever came out. So that's pretty cool. All right,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, as part of the MX Bikes community, we're going to go over some of your websites that you do. So like, I guess we could start with MyMXB. So I guess that's the most well known website in the community that you've built. So maybe you can kind of go into that. I know it's built off of WordPress. I think at least
It
some
is.
of it is. Yeah. So maybe kind of go into how you got started with that. Uh, what was the reason behind creating it, and maybe some of the people that helped you along the way.
Yeah, so actually to give you the full background, I started to play MX Sim in 2009, and after a few years playing it, so I think starting from 2013, the French community I was in to just to have some races has been completely closed by the owner. And so we were an entire community without a website, without anything. And I just decided to take the lead at this time. So I created I think it was a PHPBB forum
Yeah,
at
yeah,
this time. Yeah.
one of the free
Um,
ones.
yeah, it was just horrible to manage and to customize. You cannot do anything on those frameworks. But then I was like, okay, I need something stronger. And at this time, I changed. It's at the exact time I moved to Switzerland, and I had a 50% contract, so part time, and I had half of my day to just to do anything. And I decided to just create this racing system that today on my MXB. I created back in the day for MX Sim, but only for the French community. So it was used by maybe 200 people only. It was a very
Okay.
small. And in 2014, MX Bikes has been released. We tested it already with Stone Rider, because he was already co-admin with me on this old community. It was called MXS Concept, if you want to check on Google. Um, and we tested it, but I mean, not sure when you started the game really, but in beta 1, the very first version, it was just unplayable. We spot the potential of the game because the graphics compared to MXIM, they were already super nice, like just having this shadow under your bike. You don't have this in sim, and it's just so frustrating that you cannot have just a shadow under your bike, and the reflection and so on. But yeah, it was not ready, so we just continued to do our stuff on the sim, on MX sim, and I started to create bigger and bigger series with sponsors, with real brand like Shot, for example, giving us some stuff for the competitors. And um, I think I had Shot, and I can't remember, 100% for the goggles. Just because I know some people in the industry, so it helps a bit. And yeah, then there was in 2016 this new beta, really better. So we kind of moved to MX bikes, and I created at this time MXB dash friends or something like this. A bit ridiculous name, but the thing is, in Sim, the global community was existing for a while before me, and it was not needed at all. But on bikes, there was the forum of Pibozo. Insane already created MXB mods to download the mods for free, but then there was nothing just to host races or just to say, hey, we will do a race in 10 days. Or I had Pibozo's forum, but it was not, it's a forum, and if you don't go every day to read the messages, so you can miss some information. So this was in 2016, and maybe 6 months after that, Pibozo pushed a new beta, and it just broke the game. I think it was 12, beta 12 maybe. And the online was completely crashed. You just couldn't have a race online, and your game just kept crashing after a few minutes for no reason. So it took something like 18 months to Pibozo to fix it.
Oh wow, I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine that. It's a super long
And
time.
most of the players today came to the game when it was on Steam, but I think it was on Steam in 2018 also.
Yeah, yeah.
But before that, it was just so frustrating because there was this game with so much potential. Already some OEM bikes built by some OGs not still there today, like Azrael, a French dude very good at developing bikes. And yeah, it was just unplayable. So we kept MX Sim in parallel, but then when the game was released on Steam and completely fixed, so we made the switch completely. I completely abandoned the MX Sim community. Asked for some people to take all the website like for free, but there was nobody to take it, unfortunately. And yeah, so I created my MXB because there was nobody, globally speaking, to create something for the community. So that was the how my MXB was born. And I just took my code from MX Sim, adapted some things for MX Bikes, and it was ready. But when I created it, so there was no like server renting. Even the racing system was not open to anyone. It was just me creating races, and you could just sign up to the race, and that was it.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say back then you guys were using Resolute Kraken's server manager. I think it just came out back then, and that was really the only tool that you had to do a dedicated server back then.
True,
Yeah,
but still, so this software, if you install it on your own computer, then you are the host, right?
right.
So I had already some dedicated server for MX Sim, and I just used them for MX Bikes, but it was only in Europe because my community for Sim was only in France. And then some people started to complain about the ping, and clearly the player base is something like 80% in North America. That's some analytics I have, and it was just super natural for me to purchase another server overseas for the NA players. And this was in 20 I think it was for Christmas 2018, so just before 2019, where I created this. And then with Resolute, we were like, okay, I can do all this infrastructure, you can do the software, maybe we can team up and offer this as a service for the players. And this is how was born the server renting feature.
Awesome. And like back then, Pro Series, I don't know, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't really join the community until last year, but there wasn't even a pro community at all. Like there wasn't really a Pro Series, at least nothing like we see today. So that was created. So you and Stormrider made that in 2020, I believe, was the first season of Aerial.
2019.
2019. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
2019, we had this challenge to make we were used to do it for sim, but
Hmm.
the track making process in sim is way easier and faster than on bikes. And if today you look at our tracks we made in 2019, overall it looks bad, to be nice, but fair. Because we were still learning, and we had 1 week to build all tracks because we wanted to build the real track, not the track map. And it was such a challenge. But again, there was some series here and there. For example, in NA there was already the PDMX and PDSX,
Okay.
right? Managed by the people like Mac Chicken, Reese, Wes, and all these dudes. So at the beginning, when we created the series with Stone, it was just like continuing what we were doing on Sim, but on bikes, but not again with the idea of becoming the series, the main one, the pro series. Esports was not even really a word. It was not super, common to talk about esport and being a pro at gaming at this time. So it was just giving to the community. Again, the shop was not a thing, so everything was free, and it was just passion, doing tracks for the community, doing races. I qualified maybe once in main, but people were already way too fast compared to me trying to play the game for already maybe 4 or 5 years. But yeah, that's true. We started with this series becoming super big from the first year.
So yeah, like so back then you had the sim community. What would you say like people were thinking back then, like when MX bikes came out? Like was it initial like hey, let's check this game out, or is it like this game sucks? It doesn't have like any of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that sim already had at the time. So like, how was the transition like in the community in that era?
Um, I think I think there's a lot of personal taste here because when you try MX bikes for the first time, yes, it's easier, but it's also different. And some people still think that, or it's not think, like, again, it's personal taste. So some people find that MX sim is better than bikes, and some people could even tell you that Supercross the game is better than bikes. So it's all about your own point of view, I guess, your perspective of what you call a good game. My personal taste, I think it's clear, so I prefer MX bikes. I could speak 2 hours on the topic why I prefer MX bikes, but at this time, the community, I think on Sim, it was the beginning of the end, even if this game is not dead at all. But they started to do paid series. I think it was in 2017. So you had to pay even for the tracks. And that's something not a lot of people remember. But at this time, if you did not pay for each track and get a special license file you had to put in your track folder, the game was loaded completely flat
Oh
in Sim.
wow.
Yeah. And that was something developed by GLV, so the owner of MX Sim, only for the Race Factory Gaming guys.
Wow, that's
And
really
me,
interesting.
yep. And me with my French community, I said, hey, we are building like 50 tracks a year. I would love to just sell maybe $1 the track, so we just have a reward for our work. And GLV said, and I mean, I have a DM of this. No, it's only for Race Factory guys. And I was like, okay, so like, should I pay you? I don't know, 100, 1,000. I'll just pay you to access the same tool. And he said, no, it's just for them because they are loyal with me.
Wow, that's if that happened today with MX bikes, there would be riots up the street.
So,
So,
I mean, for me, then the choice was clear. It was like, okay, it's been so from 2013 to 17, so 4 years doing a lot for the game, and I have this. So on Sim, you can be kind of a partner, and you earn, I guess it's 4% of the sales, so $4 per copy sold, and I have like very good analytics. I sold. I should check, but a lot of copies. So I made GLV. I helped him to make a lot of money, and then he just tells you no. It's like you go to the disco and the security guy say, no, not tonight, sorry.
oh yeah. So, you went into like with JLV. So how did you might not have, but has Baboso helped you in any way as far as developing similar tools for the MX bikes community?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and a lot of people think that every day I'm in people's DM to I don't know, to exchange and get things for me, but that's really not the case. And if I tell you this, and Stone Rider and Insane and anyone involved trying to get stuff done by Piboso, they will just tell you the same. You drop a message to Piboso, and hopefully 3 weeks after, he just responds something. Sometimes it's completely off topic. Um, for example, as of now, he's super silent. We are waiting for an update for the servers because the servers are crashing always during the qualifying session in Essex. And it's super frustrating for everyone, players and us. But he said that I think it's been 2 months he's working on the kart game, the kart racing game
Okay.
with 100 players a month.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that's frustrated the community, and it's no hate towards him because obviously he's built a great game. But as far as the updates, this is his most popular game that he's built, and it's kind of frustrating, like you said, when he doesn't
Yeah.
pay it any attention. So,
Yeah, and the most frustrating thing for me is that I met him at the EICMA event,
oh wow,
and it was the 2-3 days after EICMA. It was like full of hope, because he was super excited and hyped to see his game on a giant screen and with I don't know how many people in front of the stage. But this hype was just like a week. Yeah, it lasts something like a week, and then we just fall back in the same pace as usual.
yeah. So let's go into that. Let's go into the EICMA event. So like. How did that come about? And because I think you guys worked with is Init Esports or Init
Yep.
something. Yep. So yeah, tell us about how that kind of came about, and maybe if there's anything in the future.
Yeah. So what a journey, because
Absolutely.
we created a small racing website, and then we have a real event at a big show with something like 72,000 euros in the prize pool. That was crazy.
Wow.
So how it happened? So Inity Sports has as a CEO Steffi Bo. Steffi Bo is a world champion, so it's a woman. She's a woman, 2 times world champion. I can't remember what year, but it was more than 10 years ago. And her career was stopped because of a knee injury, a very big one, or knee, or yeah, I guess. And now she's having a career. So she worked for MXGP, then she became the CEO of Fantic in the US. And now she's doing esports event, but with car racing sim. So only on simulators with, Assetto Corsa and iRacing games like that. And with all the replays we publish on YouTube and all this kind of communication we do, but we do it like naturally, she saw the video and just knocked my door to say, hey, we want to run a competition. And it's just so weird because you know how is the community, and sometimes you have a guy out of nowhere and says, hey, I want to do that, but something really big. And you're like, okay, you're just a fake account. And I remember that she just joined the community Discord and say, hey, I'm Steffi Bo. I want to discuss with the admins because I want to do a big esports event, blah, blah. And like she took just, the community. She took a train in the face. They were super hard with her. And she didn't understood really what was happening, and we could discuss after that by DM, even with Insane and Stony and so on. But people were a bit cold just because it sounded really unrealistic. We are doing small races on a beta game with one update a year, and you have someone saying, I want to make a real esports event on a stage with something like, I don't know, 15,000 people in the here, I mean, in the show. I don't have the exact numbers, but there's really a lot of people. And yeah, so Inity Sport is our company for the car racing, and we just decided to kind of partnership because she wants to promote her company, I want to promote mine. So we decided just to keep both logos on every single graphics we did for this event. But how we could make it to Italy, to Milano, was just because she knows so many people. She has so many contacts, and yeah, she needed the people able to manage all the technical stuff and create tracks. So we have JV, we have Stone Rider, and so on. And she could just connect the dots. Basically, she connected the dots, made a bit of communication on the social, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like you said, like I totally get where the community is coming from. Like it just seems like that's just an insane thing to happen. I mean, it was an absolutely insane thing to happen, like just kind of out of the blue. It's almost too good to be true. But like
Exactly.
I watched every bit of it. Definitely not fast enough to qualify for it, but it was really cool seeing MX bikes get on the big screen. Have all the guys go out there and compete for the trophy. It's super cool, absolutely. And
Yeah, and meeting players. I mean, I
yeah,
could meet someone like Doc. You can hear his voice every day on YouTube and TikTok and all the socials. But yeah, all of a sudden I just look in that direction, and I have Reaper Doc in front of me. It's crazy.
yeah, Lens and Cam, all the guys that you've never really put a face to, and then it's like there they are. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he had to face reveal a month ahead of the
Yeah.
of ECMA just to control the face reveal, you know.
Right, right, yeah. I remember that he was live streaming with a with face cam one day. I'm like, holy crap, that's what he looks like. Dang.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So, are, I know it's probably too early to tell, but is there any chance of something like that in the future, like continuing the IGMA, or is it kind of just like dimmed out since it happened?
No, so there's two different aspects. The first is it was kind of a test, even for them, for ECMA to see what can such competition bring them. And they were not gonna lie, they were expecting more viewers on Twitch, just more engagement from the community and other players, not from MX Bikes. But there's a reason to this, in my opinion. If you look at the different marketing campaign, there was almost none. I mean, I shared the stuff on our socials, so Virtual MX, my personal socials. Same for Init. But if you don't put some money in some communication, and that was what they missed this year. They asked for this event. I think it was mid of July, and from 1st to 31st of August, they were all off at ECMA. So I could have only answers to my question in September, and I think the online championship started the 3rd week of September, something like that. So we had to create everything in a rush. Logos, because I created the logos. Logos, the ask JV to change the logos on the tracks, and they changed their mind 10 times. No, don't put Kawasaki at first. First, we want KTM because they give more money, and this kind of discussion. So it was really tough. And they thought that we will manage the communication, but it costs too much money to do that. If you want some, I don't know, spots on the socials, paid ads on social and stuff like that, it's super expensive. So yeah, it's a lack of preparation, I would say, to get the expected engagement from the people. Now the other aspect is the aspect from the sports or the esports, and the players are here. They are more and more competitive. I mean, when I see the new players and the lap times, and then I stop my game and I'm just really sad. And
I
I
know the
know that
pain.
I'll be best at adding some features at my MXB than playing the game. So hi, the cat. We still have some. We have a room for this competition, and they know it. So yes, the answer is yes. We will have a 24 edition of an esports event. If it's at ECMA, most probably nothing is signed yet, but we in it esports and virtual MX, we will do something no matter what. And
Awesome, man.
hopefully live overseas, because we need to come to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Or best case scenario, have both.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, like you look at games like iRacing that started 2008, 2009, and it took them almost 10 years to finally get a big brand endorsement for their Pro Series. Um, hopefully MX Bikes is taking right after them, and kind of having a little bit of a slow start getting things started out, but then all it takes is one brand, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, it was the same for ECMA, because they were lacking of partners. And when I guess the first was Honda, but the first that just joined it, then all the other brands, they came in. I need to come here too.
It's a
If you can see
competition.
only this brand, it's not good. So they all come, and that's yeah. Just as you said, you need one. and then you unblock everything. But the real problem is that they really take a look at what they are doing. And when you say, okay, it's a PC only game, they don't like it. Then they want to know more. Yeah, it's in a beta stage. They don't like it at all because they understand that they are putting real money on a game that is not even a V1, a real release. For us, it is because we are used to play beta for ages, but I understand that when you want to put some real money on a project and it just seems a very weak game. So
And then on top of that, the tracks are not even made by the developer; it's made by the community. So that's another thing on top of that.
I think that was okay until you have the approval from the tracks company themselves. For example, we use only Italian tracks because one of the partners was the Federation of Italian motorcycle. And so they have the power to say, okay, you can use any tracks that are on our territory. But that's a good point. For example, if you want to make a replica of an official esports competition of the MXGP, for example, and use the MXGP logos and brand, if you don't have the approval and they have a game, so maybe there's a clash here because they are developing their own game. Hey, there's a lot of conditions like this making the whole thing more complex than it can look, because some players, just think that you just need to find one brand, but it doesn't work like that, because even if you find, for example, Monster Energy, they want to sign a contract to put some money here, but then they will say, yeah, but we don't want to work with this brand, this brand, this brand, this brand. So it's a whole management to do to get all the things working for only one project.
Yeah, and like you said, they're all like competing with each other, and
Yeah,
see,
you'll never
yeah,
see Monster and Red Bull next to each other.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you even see that in real life Supercross. So, um, yeah, that's awesome to hear. That's awesome that it's potentially in the works and going to happen again this year. I know a lot of guys are going to be excited for that, and hopefully it'll be bigger than last year, keeping that improvement.
Yeah,
So
at
yeah,
least we had this kind of test. The first edition is always kind of a crash test, even if overall I guess it was very good. The online series was a bit weird because of the point system they wanted to do. It was not our decision. So I guess the second and third round counted twice, double of the points, something like this. And it was so weird because then the first had something like 100 points gap to the second. Made no sense to me, but we learned and we will improve, definitely.
yeah, you can take that to them the next time and you know make improvements like you said.
Mhm.
And that brings up another interesting topic. We have a couple of new games, motocross games coming out. Like you have the Mad Skills motocross game coming out, I think sometime this year. At least the beta's coming out pretty soon on it. I did a little research, saw that you were listening in the Discord. So, what are your thoughts on other motocross games coming into the community and seeing how they do things?
I think I follow the LCQ studio since they started to try to do something. I think it was 8 years ago, publishing a few screens on Facebook, on their Facebook page. And I support every single project. I'm also in the Track They Are Discord, and I think in my Steam library I have all the motocross games, just because if we all complain that we don't have the game we dream about, and if you don't support the industry, if you don't show that there is an interest in this kind of games, so if the analytics are not good for the business people who are here just to put some money in these games. It's not good. So you need to support the industry even if the game is not what you expect. And obviously, a game like Truck VR is not what I expect. Just because I'm more this sim guy, and I could just say the same for MX versus ATV, and probably motocross chasing the dream, because I'm not this arcade guy, you know. I
Right.
prefer sim games, and it's their target. They said from day one, we want to make a game that is easy and for casual players, and I'm totally fine with it. And that's why I purchase it, even if I know that I won't really play it. I played it twice just to give my feedback, and sometimes I exchange with the developer of the game just to, I don't know, give some ideas. But yeah, it's just, generally speaking, if you don't support your own passion, the industry of your own passion, then you don't understand how it works, because it's business.
Right. It's kind of like any sport, really. They you all have to branch off of each other and build the sport, as a whole. And same thing on the gaming side. Um, I think another interesting thing about the that Mad Skills motocross chasing the dream is, again, it's built by a single person developer. I mean, I know he's supported by the Mad Skills. Was it Turbarilla? I think it is. But as far as like the Chasing the Dream game that he originally came out with, he's the only developer. Just like Piboso, just like who's it, JLV that did MXM, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I mean it seems to be a common occurrence in this community. It almost makes you think like, what would happen if all those guys could get together and make one awesome
Ah,
game.
yeah. Yeah. Same thing with people. So some times ago we said, okay, let's, I don't know, invest with you and we make it better. But most of the time, these guys want to do their own thing, and it's the same with GLV for MXim. They don't want to grow, to make something big, and we are just waiting for this big thing, but it's not their vision. What's great with Odgis and Motocross Chasing the Dream is that they obviously made some research to find investors or partners just to make it bigger, and they found Choborilla, and that's a very good thing, because at some point, if you want your game to be really competitive on the market, you need to have some help, and even if it's only financial help, or with Tuboria you have a lot of communication and market and visibility help. I mean, it's gold, because all of a sudden you are exposed to a Facebook page with, I don't know how many subscribers they have, but it's huge compared to what they, I mean, to what LCQ Studio has. So yeah, thing is, there's some people who know how to grow, and there's Pibozo and GLV.
Yeah, and an interesting thing that I found in their Discord, the LCQ's Discord, was he actually released some of the numbers of what they are expecting to spend on the game. And I don't think people realize just how much money goes into building these games. I want to say it was around $1 to $2 million
Yeah,
just to finish up the Mad Skills motocross game. And I think that's crazy. Like when you put that with MX bikes, it's like, I know MX bikes is a pretty big game. I mean, it's nothing like MX versus ATV, but it's still a pretty decent sized game. But like when you put those numbers together, it's like MX bikes has a lot of work to do to get into those numbers.
yeah, and thing is, for example, really big shout out to this guy, Odgis, developing Motocross Chasing the Dream, because there's so many aspects in the development of a game, and some people can't really understand that, and sometimes it gives a bit of excuse to people. So because you have all the networking, for the multiplayer. You have the engine itself, because so for Motocross Chasing the Dream, they are using Unity, but Pibozo built his own engine, and same for JLV. You have then the graphics, and we know that Pibozo is just horrible at it. You just have to look at the main menu and you understand it. The physics itself, then the general asset creation, the bike itself, the tracks that comes with the game, even if there's not a lot, but still. And when you put all these things together, yeah, then you understand why AAA games needs 50 people, and at the end of the day, the game has cost something like 5 millions to just to be created, because I mean, you need an army to make a game. And for example, what Milestone did to create a game every year, not the best example because it was copy paste, barely, but it's a lot of work. I mean, me, I'm not at all a game developer, but I'm a developer in general, and yeah, I know that, for example, if I wanted, I wouldn't be able to make a game, just because it's so many things, and so many different technology you need to master and to put all together, and you press the build button and then you have maybe a game.
Yeah, and like, all like you said, all those things tying in together for one single person to build that, like at any scale, whatever the game looks like. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And Pibosos took that and was able to create GP bikes. I think Kart Racing Pro. They're all off of the same engine,
Yeah,
and
same
it's
base. Yeah.
yeah, really impressive. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess let's kind of backtrack into Virtual MX, which is your brand that you built around, I guess, your communities that you've built. And maybe you could go into maybe the goal behind Virtual MX.
So I was not planning to create a specific brand, but when I created the shop, I created it like my MXB. Like, okay, let's just create another website. And the problem was that all the money that goes to the creators, before they goes to the creators, this money was going to my personal bank account for the first 2 months. And I had the guy at the bank calling me and saying, "Can you explain what's this money?" And I was like, "Okay, I need to create a company, because now this shit is real, and I will have real problems if I don't solve it now." So I decided to create Virtual MX, which is a company, an LLC, and create this cool logo. I created it myself. Created then the Instagram page, and so on and so on, and asked people like JV and Stone Rider to put the logo everywhere they could, just to have kind of a real brand, because it's a real company. So I just wanted to show the people that it was something real. Just like today, I don't know if you see a sticker from a small company on the bike, maybe why not tomorrow I can sponsor a privateer in for the SX season. I don't know, it's just something like that. I'm dropping, it's not a real ambition I have, or I don't even know, but I just wanted to have something concrete. um, and I needed it, by the way, because it's a real business now. So I needed to be fully legit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also brings a sense of, professionalism to the community, like a lot of the series that we see is solely through like, Discord or a maybe a YouTube channel or something like that. But the fact that you have your own LLC and it's managing, was it MyMXB? Um, let's see, lost train of thought. Across all your webs, the shop, it kind of covers all those websites under one business, so to say.
Yeah,
So it's really cool.
Yeah, the idea is to have different services. Like, for example, for the coaching website, mxbcoach.com was not planned at all. And it was not absolutely not to make more money or something similar, because if you have a ratio of what it cost me in time and maintenance versus the revenue, it's just ridiculous. But I had some people like Leans and different people saying, uh, can you add a coaching section to my MXB or something like this? Because many people are asking. And so they were asking me because I'm a developer, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense. We just come back from EICMA. We have a good example of you can really be a pro and play on stage. So it was really something achievable for someone who really wants to become a pro. So yeah, why not? And again, under the same flag, Virtual MX, because as you mentioned, it makes sense to have everything grouped under the same banner.
Right. And like, like going back to iRacing again, like I've been a part of iRacing forever, so I use that as an example a lot. But like coaching on that game has absolutely taken off, since past like 4 or 5 years, ever since NASCAR and Formula One, Porsche, a lot of these really big brands started going into that game, and everybody wants to be a pro now, and I think the coaching side of things, are bigger than they ever thought it would be, and I feel like the same thing could eventually come over to MX bikes. I know we kind of talked about that earlier, but all it takes is for the right YouTuber, like maybe even an IRL rider. We do have a lot of IRL professional riders that come and play MX bikes. All it takes is the right one with the right following, and I think it'll be bigger than we ever imagined.
Are we already talking about AC or?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you know? I don't know off the top of my head, but just from your perspective, have you seen like any big name pros, sign up on your websites and stuff like that?
Yeah, AG Catanzaro.
Hmm.
He sent me some DMs to know and to understand how to install the bikes and stuff like that. That was funny.
Yeah, he's got like what
And
150,000 on YouTube now, roughly. I think.
yeah, yeah. But I think he shared some stories as well with some MX bikes gameplay. But for real, for Adam Sansarulo, I don't know if he just dropped this like that or if he's really interested in gaming. But yeah, that would be awesome to have a guy like him being part of the thing.
Yeah, he's retiring or already retired, so you might see that name pop up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Retiring at 27, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's crazy. I wish I could. I got a year to go.
You have the time to become a pro on bikes.
Oh, so yeah, talking about real life supercross riders. I mean, do you follow any of the supercross, professional motocross, MXGP? Like, do you follow
Yeah,
any of those series?
yeah. I raced from my 3 years old to 21, and it's in my veins. Like I can. It's just a shame that we are not on the same time zone. And for me, the 450 main event is at something like 4 a.m. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So now I'm almost 35, so not gonna lie, I just go to bed, put my phone in airplane mode, just to make sure I'm not spoiled with any social media stuff. And on Sunday morning, I watch the race. But yeah, I watch everything.
Awesome. Yeah. So, kind of tying into that, I know you mentioned you have a background in IT. I'm not sure if maybe you did mention this earlier, but like you told me that you work a full time job alongside doing this for MX Bikes.
Yeah.
Could you go into that maybe a little bit? Maybe nothing too personal, of course, but.
Yeah, sure. No, sure. I mean, anyone with some basic Google skill can probably find out what I'm doing for a living. But um, it's for me, it was super important to mention it and to mention it everywhere I can because I receive so many comments when it takes me 4 hours to respond to a support ticket. Like, hey, what the fuck were you doing? I was waiting for you to answer my ticket, and I'm like, dude, it's not my job. And they
I'm
say, yeah,
trying.
yes, it's your job to answer my ticket. Yeah, but so it's important to understand this. Some people think, and we just mentioned it, the company. So some people think that I earn a lot of money, and there was in the beginning of this year a lot of dramas around that. Um, greedy mook and everything you can hear here and there. I touch $0 from any service we mentioned. So the servers, the racing system, the coaching, and the shop, everything goes to the shop. And I mean, when I say everything, it's 30% because 70% is to the track creators. And by the way, just a small message for the haters: when you call me greedy, creators take 70%. So please run after them and not me. They take more money. Um, and yeah, but just back to the topic. It's super hard for me to dedicate all the time I would love to dedicate and to just improve all the services. And when some people say, yeah, but it's been 6 months we are asking for this feature. Yeah, I know, guys, but it's just tough. Because in Switzerland, the rate is 40 hours a week. I don't know for other countries, but it makes it hard. I have a wife and a daughter, and I need also this work-life balance. So it's not work-life, it's work-life MX bike balance. And yeah, it's not easy. So sometimes it takes time. I know, I'm sorry, but I try to be surrounded by a good team and all the people from the different staff for my MXB, for ARL, even for the shop, like Ryan, typical Canadian. All the guys from the staff, they are helping me a lot, but they cannot do everything just because I trust nobody. So they cannot even tell you anything about the numbers. They have no idea. And yeah, so um, your question was about my IT background and what I'm doing. So I started my career as a network administrator for the French television. And on my free time, I always wanted to learn development. I did not learn it at school, but I only on my free time. And after my 3 years contract with this TV channel, I decided to create my own company. So I was 20 or 21, yeah, maybe 21 years old. I created my company of website development. And after 3 years, then I moved to Switzerland just because the regulations in France was changing, and basically I had to give 50% of my revenues to the state,
Wow.
the taxes.
Yeah.
So I was not okay with that. Like I
No, that's
work
crazy.
10 days and 5 days are for the taxes. So no, I was not okay with that. So I decided to move to Switzerland because it's hard to find a good job in France. There's a lot of unemployment. And yeah, so since I started my career here, and today I'm a solution architect for Microsoft products.
Wow. That's very impressive. That's a very impressive background.
Well, honestly, I did not do anything extraordinary. Maybe a bit of luck, but I decided to move every time I had to move. And I know that some people today, I mean, my friends, the friends who were in school with me, they said, "Oh, you have you are lucky," you know. And I always say no, because I decided to move here without my family, and my daughter cannot see her grandparents maybe twice a year, and this is some sacrifices, you know. So that's maybe a good tip I can give to anyone listening to this podcast. Just do and don't wait. And then it's not about luck. It's you and you do.
Absolutely. You only get one shot, so make it count. Do the things you want to do in life. I think that's really good. So yeah. Let's see. I think that's pretty much all my questions that I had for you. I do really appreciate you coming on to the podcast and doing this for me. It's really cool to put a face to the name, and you know, a lot of guys get to know what you do. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Appreciate it, and thank you for taking this. You know, just it's for some people it can be not a lot, but I mean, every single person doing something for the community is also doing it for the sport. And what we discussed earlier, if there's some people interested in putting time, visibility, money in this game, we need to see more people like you doing stuff like that. So to everyone doing just something in the community, thank you, because all the streamers, the guys doing the graphic kits for free, for paid, no, it doesn't matter. But I mean, all the people doing just something, it's just awesome for our sport in general. Not speaking about virtual MX or MX bikes, but in general, it's super important.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for watching episode 2. It should be coming out Monday. And yeah, Niko, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. And I just had something to add to this awesome podcast. Just to tease you a bit, we are preparing on MyMXB something completely free, a new way to play online your favorite game. So just keep in touch, be patient. We should release this before the end of the year. And you'll really enjoy it, guys, because you'll completely rediscover the game and the way just to compete online with people with the same skill level as yours.